Listen to me closely. You know exactly why you clicked on this. The game is coming. Maybe it's tomorrow morning. Maybe it's in 3 hours. And right now, there is a feeling in your stomach that you hate. It's not excitement. People tell you it's excitement, but you know the truth. It's a knot. It's a weight. You're sitting there, and your mind is replaying a movie that hasn't happened yet. You're imagining the mistake. You're imagining the ball coming to you and your touch betraying you. You're imagining the coach shaking his head. You're imagining the drive home in silence because you played like a ghost again. And the most frustrating part? You know you are good. That's the tragedy of it. If you were bad at football, you wouldn't care. But you know what you did in training on Tuesday. You know that pass you made, that goal you scored when nobody was watching, when the pressure was off. You felt light. You felt sharp. But now, as the clock ticks closer to kickoff, it feels like someone is slowly turning down the volume on your talent. Your legs start to feel heavy, not because you're tired, but because you're carrying the weight of expectation. You step onto the pitch, and you're not playing to win. You're playing not to lose. You're playing not to be humiliated. And that creates the very thing you are afraid of. Most players live their entire careers in this cycle. They showed 20% of their potential in matches and 100% in training. They're training ground Ballon d'Or winners, and then they quit, blaming the coach, blaming politics, blaming their teammates. But deep down, they know the truth. They lost the battle before the whistle even blew. But that stops today. If you listen to the next 20 minutes, I'm going to explain exactly what is happening inside your body and your brain. We are going to flip the switch. We aren't going to hope you play well. We are going to engineer it. The first thing we need to fix isn't your touch, it's your brain chemistry. Right now, in the 24 hours leading up to the game, you are likely destroying your ability to react. Think about what you did this morning. You woke up, you grabbed your phone, you scrolled, high-speed highlights, music, flashing lights, memes, short-form content. You think you're just killing time, relaxing, but biologically, you are flooding your brain with cheap dopamine. Why does this matter for football? Because dopamine is the molecule of motivation and focus. When you flood your brain with cheap dopamine from a screen, you raise your baseline, you numb yourself. So when you step onto the pitch, the game feels slow. Your focus feels scattered. You can't lock in. Your reaction time drops by milliseconds. And at your level, milliseconds are the difference between a brilliant interception and getting megged. You need to enter a state of sensory starvation. This is the first shift. From this moment until the game ends, your phone is a tool, not a toy. No scrolling, no mindless consumption. You need to bore your brain. When your brain is bored and starved of cheap entertainment, it becomes hungry for activity. It becomes aggressive. When you finally step onto the grass after hours of calmness, your brain says, finally, something to do, and it locks into the ball with a level of intensity you haven't felt in years. You need to be starving for the game, not stuffed full of TikToks. Let's talk about that physical sensation, the heavy legs. You felt it. You do a warm-up sprint, and it feels like you're running in mud. You panic. You think, did I not sleep enough? Did I eat the wrong pasta? Am I tired? No, you are not tired. You are poisoned by adrenaline. When you are nervous, your body enters a fight or flight state. Your adrenal glands dump cortisone and adrenaline into your blood. This is meant to help you run from a lion, but when you are standing still in the tunnel or the locker room, that adrenaline has nowhere to go. It sits in your muscles. It creates tension. It tightens your fascia. Your muscles are like rubber bands. To be explosive, they need to be loose and elastic. Anxiety turns them into hard, stiff rocks. That's why your touch is heavy. That's why you can't turn quickly. So how do we fix this? We don't fix it by trying to relax. That never works. We fix it with the carbon dioxide reset. Most nervous players breathe too fast, short, shallow breaths into the chest. This signals your brain that you are dying. I want you to do the opposite. You need to slow your exhale. For the next few hours, whenever you feel that pit in your stomach, take a breath in through your nose for 4 seconds and exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. Make the exhale longer than the inhale. This simply mechanical action forces your nervous system to switch from fight or flight to rest and digest. It flushes the tension out of your quads. It unlocks your hips. You don't need a massage. You need to oxygenate your blood correctly. Now we go deeper. We need to talk about the ego. Why are you actually nervous? Be honest. You aren't afraid of kicking a ball. You've kicked a ball 1,000,000 times. You are afraid of what people will think of you if you miss. You are carrying an invisible backpack onto the field. Inside that backpack are the opinions of your father, your coach, your friends, the girl watching in the stands, the scout you think is watching. You are carrying their expectations, and you are trying to play football while carrying 50 kilos of other people's opinions on your back. No wonder you move slowly. You need to understand something brutal. Nobody cares about you as much as you think they do. If you have a bad game, your friends will forget by dinner. The coach is thinking about his job, not your feelings. The crowd is looking at their phones. You are the main character in your movie, but you are just an extra in theirs. This sounds harsh, but it is freedom. It means you are free to make mistakes. The best players in the world, Vinicius, Haaland, Mbappe, they lose the ball constantly. But they don't care. They don't have that backpack. They drop the baggage and they keep playing. You need to spawn into this game like it is a simulation. Imagine you have no past. You have no history. You aren't the guy who played bad last week. You aren't the guy who needs to get signed. You are just a body on a pitch right now in this second. Cut the strings attached to the past and future. Most mental coaches tell you to visualize scoring. They tell you to close your eyes and see yourself lifting the trophy. I'm telling you to stop doing that. That is a trap. When you visualize only perfection, you become fragile, because the moment you step on the pitch and make your first bad pass, and you will, your reality doesn't match your visualization. You panic, you crumble. This wasn't supposed to happen. I visualized the hat trick. Instead, I want you to visualize the glitch. Close your eyes, visualize the worst start possible, visualize getting tackled hard, visualize giving the ball away, feel that shock, and then, and this is the key, visualize yourself reacting instantly. Visualize yourself sprinting back, winning the ball, and making the next pass simple. Visualize the resilience, not the perfection. When you prepare your mind for the difficulty, the game feels easy. If you prepare for easy, the game feels hard. You want to walk onto that pitch thinking, I am ready for the chaos. That is true confidence. Confidence isn't knowing you won't fail. Confidence is knowing you can handle it when you do. There is a version of you that knows how to play. We've all seen him. He shows up when you play pickup with your little cousins. He shows up when you're alone at the park. He is creative, arrogant, smooth. But then the worrier shows up on match day. You need a trigger to kill the worrier and summon the player. You need an anchor. Look at the best players. They all have rituals, not superstitions, but triggers. Ronaldo's stance, Nadal's water bottles. It's a signal to the brain that normal life is over and performance time has begun. Right before you step onto the pitch, finds a physical action. Maybe it's pulling your socks up to a specific height. Maybe it's 3 jumps. Maybe it's splashing water on your face. Assign a meaning to that action. Tell yourself, when I cross this white line, the nice guy stays outside. The student stays outside. The sun stays outside. Inside the white lines, you are a machine. You don't have emotions. You have missions. You don't feel sorry for the opponent. You hunt them. You have to act the part before you feel it. Fake the body language, chest out, head scanning. Even if you are terrified inside, project the image of a king. Because weirdly enough, your biology mirrors your posture. If you stand like a victim, your brain lowers your testosterone. If you stand like a predator, your brain floods you with aggression and focus. The game is close now. You've stopped the scrolling. You've slowed your breathing. You've dropped the backpack of opinions. You've visualized the chaos. Now there is only one thing left: simplicity. When the whistle blows, do not try to win the game in the first 5 minutes. Do not try to dribble 5 players. You need to get your first touch right, then your first pass, then your first tackle. Build your game brick by brick. A 5-yard pass is a victory. A good scan is a victory. A sprint is a victory. Accumulate these small wins, and suddenly the rhythm finds you. The flow state finds you. You don't chase the flow, you attract it by doing the simple things violently well. You have done the work. The training is in your legs. You can't learn anything new in the next hour. You can't get fitter.